Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, My So-Called Healthy Life. Okay, today I'm gonna read my meditation from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone. You know this is my favorite one. But anyway, I have not read any of today's affirmations, so I'm gonna read this one. And I think it is rather timely. It is June 17th, and it is compassion. The quote is from the 14th Dalai Lama. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion is not the same thing as sympathy or pity. Compassion is a more powerful and more difficult emotion. Compassion means understanding the suffering of others and wanting to do something about it. Practicing compassion goes beyond merely shaking our heads and sighing, "Oh, that's too bad." We must first want to change the circumstances of others, and then we must try our best to change these circumstances. It's easy for me to feel sorry for others. To be compassionate, though, I need to understand why people are suffering and then try to do something about it. I think this is a really interesting meditation on the heels of the video that I just made for my main channel, and also about my vlog last night, where I talked, if you guys watch my vlog, I talked for a very long time last night about my sobriety and my recovery. And I also talked on there about setting limits and boundaries for people that have addiction issues, because I get so many emails on a daily basis with people saying, you know, I have a friend or I have a family member and I don't know what to do, and blah, blah, blah. I've tried to get them into treatment. They won't listen. You know, I've tried this, I tried that. They just won't do anything. And, you know, I talked to my vlog last night about you can't force somebody to get sober that doesn't want to get sober. But that doesn't mean that you have to continue to have your life impacted by it. And being compassionate towards somebody can be understanding of where they are at and realizing in your power what you can do to change that. And when we talk about addiction and recovery, one of the things that we can do is we can set limits and boundaries for those people. We can say, I love you, and I've tried to get you some help, and you're resistant to doing that, so I can no longer be part of your suffering. I'm no longer willing to enable this situation. And you know, I think having compassion for other people, it's easy for us just to write a $20 check to a charity or things like that. It's different to say like, hey, I'll give you a ride somewhere, or I'll teach you how to fill out a job application, or here, I'll get you social services so you get health care and you can get your eyes checked and things like that. You know, it's easier to do all that. It's, you know, when did we stop being good neighbors, so to speak? I talk about this a lot in my vlog, that we recently had a new neighbor that moved into our neighborhood, and she's younger and she's super, super friendly, which is interesting to me because the average age in our neighborhood is probably, I'd say 70, and they're not real friendly. And you would think they come from the generation of being neighborly, of being compassionate and friendly and all that kind of stuff, and they're really not, you know? And here this young girl moves in and she's super, super friendly, super, super compassionate, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I hope that we see this turnaround in what compassion looks like and how we can start being compassionate and caring of one another, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, sometimes being compassionate doesn't look like what we think it does. Sometimes being compassionate isn't kissing somebody's ass. Sometimes being compassionate, you know, isn't saying, I'll take you everywhere, I'll buy you everything, I'll do all this kind of stuff for you, I pity you. That's not compassion. Sometimes compassion is telling people what they need to hear. Sometimes compassion is saying, okay, listen, this has gone on long enough, okay? You know, you're in a really unhealthy situation. You need to get out of this work environment every day. It's really unhealthy for you. Or, you know, you're in a really unhealthy relationship. Or, you know, like, listen, your substances are out of control, or your eating is out of control, or whatever. And I think that sometimes being friends and being family members of those people is tough, because when we say it, they don't hear us anymore, right? But then to say, okay, but I'm gonna set a limit or a boundary, and if you can't change this, I can't be part of it either, you know? And on my vlog, I was talking about a family member that I had where I just kind of had to lower my expectations and distance myself as far as the addiction stuff, because I just couldn't handle it anymore. Like, I really wanted them to get help and get better, but they were so resistant to it that I just kind of like at some point was like, you know what? Like, I've said my piece. I've told them that I'm concerned about them and that I would do anything to help them. They don't want it. At that point, what can I do? I can't be out of their life. They're a family member. So I had to lower my expectations and be kind and compassionate. You know, when they text me or call me, I'm, hey, how are you? You know, but I don't get real deep into it because I don't want my personal life affected by it anymore. When they call me and they say, I want help, I'll be right there for them. And I think that compassion, you know, looks different in every situation. So just, I think in going through all of our relationships in our lives, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, whatever, you know, I think always to say, how can I be more compassionate towards this person is a really a really great strength, but I think it's easier said than done. Even for me, I don't do it, you know, like easier for me to just like when I'm driving down the road, be like, and get all full of road rage, instead of maybe looking at the situation and going, I don't know, maybe they had a really bad day and that's why they're riding my butt, you know? So I think to wake up every day and try to reaffirm, I'm gonna be a person of compassion today in everything that I do, and pause throughout the day when we're not doing that and try to realign ourselves is probably a pretty good, you know, thing to aim for, don't you? All right, you guys, I love you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.